Good day everyone, this will be a quick battery review of the new Galaxy S24. I actually wanted to do this review for one sole reason, because every time I try to search up anything that has to do with the S24, the base, as you can see, the tiny versions, it's not very tiny actually, it's the normal size. So every time I try to search up anything that has to do with S24 base, I always end up with millions of videos about the Ultra. And I know me, like a lot of customers, actually like the base S24 and are searching for some kind of review over the battery. Is it concerning since it's a small sized phone with the new Exynos chip? That's right, this is the European version, so it is powered by Exynos. And boy, do I have great news for you. Keep in mind that this video is not sponsored or endorsed or by any means related to Samsung, okay? Usually I am not a fan of Exynos. All my previous mobile phones were Snapdragon, so I've had a very hard time draining this beast. Needless to say, it is a very battery efficient chip. We're talking about almost, and call it spoiler, we're talking about almost 10 hours of screen on time, doing not normal tasks but everyday tasks. That includes using the Smart Connection app to migrate all my files, approximately tens of gigabytes, as well as setting all of my new apps, talking to my family for almost 1.5 hours of video calls on WhatsApp. I always left this screen not on 60 Hz but on 120 Hz, and I already have the SIM card in it and Wi-Fi open, as you can see. So this is real life performance. And I know that you are frustrated by the amount of monotonous reviews out there, just calling it the new smart AI, the new Galaxy S24, fantastic and stuff like that, but you really don't care about that. You really care about the actual numbers of this thing. So just review the purely technical numbers of this. Okay, so when it was 15%, it had an hour and a half of battery left. That gives you an indication that approximately it stands up for 10 hours of screen on time. Which kind of activity did you did in this 10 hours? Because, for example, scrolling Facebook or other social media is not as much battery consuming as video blogging or stuff like that. So this is why I call this review a real life preview. Okay, it has a mix of everything. I will break it down for you using other apps. Don't worry about that. Okay, so first of all, you can see that the average battery usage is about 8% per hour. That is a mixture between screen off time and screen on time, okay? We can see that the battery lasted for 12 hours. That itself is not so impressive because it adds the screen off and on time, but keep in mind that I have just been using this device non-stop. You can see here, screen on time used 70%, 73%, and that almost did 7 hours. That is the screen on time. So with small calculations, you can see that it actually holds up to 10 hours. Okay. You can see the top apps I used. It's the messaging app, YouTube, WhatsApp, and should I mention again, I have did almost 1.5 hours of video chat on WhatsApp. Okay, a little bit of Chrome, Messenger, Instagram. I will leave you with the numbers later on, okay? Facebook. And here I'll leave you with the estimated screen off, screen on time. Screen on time, it depends. It can go up to 10 hours. Screen off time can go up to 2 or 3 days. Combined use, my combined use can stand up for 1 day approximately. Okay, a couple of words about the discharge speed. These are the numbers from the app called Ampere. Of course, when I try to scroll left and right, up and down, that pumps up the display up to 120 Hz. And when you leave the phone still, it is approximately 48 Hz. So when I try to actually navigate through the phone, it almost got up to 450 milliamp hours. But when I leave it still and the frequency goes down to 48 Hertz, then that leaves very little drain for the battery. It's almost 120 milliamperes. In average, yeah, it was almost 250 milliamp hours, and that should calculate as well. Now, many of you know that there is no in-system mode to calculate screen on time. The best you could do is just going to digital well-being and parental control to see your screen on time. The problem is that you would say that this number is so little. It's because this particular setting calculates every day. Okay, when it gets past midnight, it would reset. So I could not drain my mobile phone until midnight, so I had to actually go through the other day draining it. So these calculations are only past midnight of today. Okay, so but you could get a quick look of the apps I would use here. A little bit of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Chrome, Camera, Telegram, and that normal use of applications. Okay, also you should know that I was setting up the mobile. That includes transferring all of the data, WhatsApp, just downloading all the synced conversations, installing like a couple of tens of apps, going through unoptimized apps or battery draining apps. That includes the Smart Connect itself, that includes marketplaces like Amazon and AliExpress. These actually drain good amount of battery when you try to browse them. And this is the screen when I try to charge this mobile phone. It charged up to 4,600 milliamp hours. And logically that would mean that it would charge in less than an hour, but actually that does not mean that, because when your mobile is lacking charge, it would charge up to this speed. But then when it gets close to 80-90%, it would slow down to keep the battery healthy. Okay, so you would not get this amount of charging speed throughout all of your time. And that is one of the advertisements all companies do. They give you the maximum amount of charge that would go through your phone, but that does not mean that it would just charge at that speed all the time. Okay, so when talking about charging the device, it almost took 1 hour and 10 minutes to get full, but it was impressive. It only took about 40 minutes to reach 80%. So that is good. I would say good, because there are much faster speeds out there. Okay, as you can see, I already downloaded a lot of apps, and I mean a lot of apps, and that includes many battery draining apps like Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, and they all working simultaneously. And I've also had mobile network most of the time. I used data, but that's only 4G. This is not a 5G connection that I have. It's only 4G. I already used the data. I already talked for about an hour using this device. So I've tried as much as of a real experience you would get. Also about the brightness. It has been fluctuating between almost quarter of a brightness and half. Okay, so that is the normal brightness that you would get when you are inside a building, but there is sun coming from the windows and stuff like that. It's not the direct sunlight brightness that you would have to pump up more, and that would logically require more battery. But I can comfortably say that I have already thrown, as I said, video camera, video calls, shopping apps, not gaming. I have not thrown games at this guy. I'm not a very mobile gamer kind of guy. And all of that usage consumed approximately 10% of battery every hour. So you would normally get between 8 and 11 hours of screen on time on this absolutely fantastic guy. Okay, one small thing I forgot to mention is the build number and One UI version of this. Of course, this is an early version of One UI, and that could mean that throughout next software update, I think the battery will go even better. And it's also worth mentioning that it's only yet learning usage patterns. The battery is not yet really accustomed to my usage. So that means it could go just a little bit better once it learned my usage pattern. I will leave the review as it is now because I think I covered the most important things that many people search for. I don't think that they would care about the amount of nanometers less in this bezel. And I hope you like this video. This is my first review ever. I only did it because I was just getting tired of seeing ultra reviews all the time and not enough, the small guy's review. I hope you liked it, and if you need me to test anything that has to do with benchmarks or other useful numbers, then leave it in the comments and have a great day. Goodbye.